All right, let's jump right in. Today we're exploring a really powerful philosophical story. It's about one man's attempt to create his own meaning in a world where all the old rules have collapsed. This is the Saga of Der Wille, a high-stakes battle against the void itself. So think about this for a second. What happens when the foundations of our world just disappear? When all the values that gave life purpose are suddenly gone, what comes next? This is the huge question at the heart of our story, a question born from Nietzsche's famous and often misunderstood declaration, God is dead. And into this massive, gaping void steps our protagonist, a man named Baron von Next. Now, he's not your typical hero with a sword and shield. Nope, he's an intellectual warrior, and his weapon is a truly radical idea: to forge his own values and build a new world of meaning right from the ashes of the old one. So what's driving this guy? Well, it's a core Nietzschean concept you've probably heard of, the will to power. And look, this isn't about just dominating people, it's way deeper. It's this fundamental drive in everything. Every person, every organism, to grow, to expand, to overcome resistance, and to impose its own unique perspective on the chaos of the world. The Baron's entire quest is just this force, distilled into its purest intellectual form. Now, to really get what the Baron is trying to do, you have to understand Nietzsche's 3 stages of spiritual growth. First, there's the camel. This is the spirit that just carries the heavy weight of tradition, no questions asked. Then comes the lion, the rebel who attacks those old values and destroys them to create freedom. Our Baron? He is the lion, tearing everything down. And he's doing it to hopefully reach that final stage, the child, who can create brand new values with a kind of innocent joy. And this chart right here, it just boils it all down perfectly. The Baron is trying to completely replace the world of thou shalt, a world of morality that's just handed down to you, with this incredibly bold declaration of I will. For him, truth isn't something you find, it's something you make. You forge it with the force of your own. And his ultimate goal? It's breathtakingly ambitious. He wants to become the Übermensch, or the Overman. This is a being whose own creative will is so powerful that it's enough to justify its own existence. He sees himself as crossing this really dangerous bridge between what humanity is right now and what it could become. But, and this is a huge but, this is no simple hero's tale. The Baron is actually trapped in this constant, agonizing state of becoming. He's this tragic figure, suspended over a deep abyss. And as he's about to find out, that abyss isn't empty. Oh no, it is filled with a force Nietzsche called the spirit of gravity, and its only goal is to pull him down into absolute despair. So his first major opponent isn't some monster or a villain. It's an enemy that comes from within. He has to face the personification of utter weariness and futility. He has to face the weight of despair itself. This foe has a name, the Pale Cynic, and he is that spirit of gravity. You know, that little nagging voice of despair inside your own head, the one whispering that all your struggles are pointless? That's him. He is the very essence of what's called passive nihilism. All is in vain, all is the same, all has been. Just listen to that. The cynic's message is this haunting, demoralizing whisper that just mocks everything the Baron is trying to achieve. I mean, if everything is pointless, why even bother trying? In Nietzsche's philosophy, the cynic is what he called the last man. This is humanity at its most pathetic, its most tired and uninspired. He's a creature who's seen all the wonders of the universe and just blinks, completely empty of passion. He is literally the shadow of the Baron's own past, a chilling reminder of the apathy that he is so desperately trying to overcome. The Pale Cynic represents a total failure of what Nietzsche saw as the ultimate test, the eternal recurrence. So try this thought experiment. Imagine you had to live your entire life exactly as it is, with every single joy and every single agonizing moment over and over again for all of eternity. Could you look at that and joyfully say yes again? See, the true mark of the Übermensch is the strength to affirm that eternal repetition with joy. The cynic, on the other hand, represents the complete opposite. He is the great no. He chooses a slow, weary decay over the vibrant, painful, beautiful struggle of life itself. But just as the Baron is grappling with this deep internal despair, something else, something way more terrifying, starts to emerge from the very void that he was trying to conquer. This new enemy is named Seifel. And the difference between them is absolutely crucial. The cynic's nihilism, remember, is passive. It's a soul-deep exhaustion that whispers, nothing matters. Seifel's nihilism is reactive. It's aggressive. It's an active force of destruction that doesn't whisper, it screams, nothing is real. Seifel is the demon of doubt. It's that raw animalistic terror that rises up when you realize you're completely free from all the old rules. It's the urge to just give in to the chaos, to succumb to the void, rather than endure the immense crushing strain of creating your own reality from scratch. So how in the world does our hero overcome these two different faces of the abyss? Well, this brings us to the climax of the story, an agonizing triumph that completely redefines what victory can even mean. The Baron has this breakthrough. He realizes that his old tools, logic, reason, intellect, they're all useless here. To defeat Seifel and everything the cynic stands for, he has to embrace a totally new, radical strategy he calls the synthesis. And the synthesis isn't about destroying his enemies. It's about absorbing their truths into himself. It has 3 steps. First, he has to acknowledge the futility that the cynic talks about. Second, he has to acknowledge the terrifying doubt that Seifel unleashes. And then, and this is the key, he has to choose to continue his struggle, to continue to dance, in spite of it all. And here's the final twist. It turns out, Seifel isn't just an obstacle. He is a necessary adversary. The constant threat of chaos is what forces the Baron to stay sharp, to remain a dynamic warrior of the spirit. Without that struggle, he'd just become a stagnant god, which really is just another form of death. And that, right there, is the central takeaway of this entire parable. The Übermensch isn't some finish line you cross. It's not a destination. It is a relentless, difficult, and often agonizing process of constantly overcoming yourself. The real triumph is found in the struggle itself, not in some prize at the end. Which, of course, leaves us with one last provocative question to think about. In a world without any built-in purpose, is it possible that the struggle to create our own values, that never-ending dance right on the edge of the abyss, is the only true meaning we can ever hope to find?